What is going on, everybody? I am back, and wow, it has been nearly a month. I'm not gonna lie, it has been a great month. It's been a great month because I've been visiting with family. I've been just working when I have spare time, and it's been nice. It's just been nice. It's just been a nice month. But I'm back. Got to get to work, and my daughter they leave on Sunday. Maria is back to work now. I actually have an empty house right now for the next little over an hour. I did make a video last Thursday. Could not get it to upload. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that it did, because I needed a little bit more time to kind of think about how I wanted to present the information that I'm gonna present. And it's more along the lines of, I want to hear your stories, and I want you to tell me if you think that this information is important to focus on. I think it is. I've been noticing something over the last month that I haven't quite been able to kind of put my finger on or wrap my head around why, or if it's even a thing. There's a couple different issues. They're all centered around promoted listings. Big surprise. I mean, again, it comes back to the transparency with promoted listings and the sketchiness that of some of the things that I'm noticing. And I'm going to get into some examples. I'm going to flip the screen around and I'm going to show you kind of what I mean. And then I'm going to present to you the logic behind how I feel that the promoted listing sales that we're getting, or that eBay is saying they're promoted sales, how they're statistically improbabilities, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, there's no way that X amount of percentage of my sales can be promoted listings based on common sense, statistics, and utilizing eBay's own statistics to show that it's an improbability. I mean, I even spoke to a customer service rep today. I explained to her what I'm going to explain to you, and I said, you tell me, is this particular, like, I was giving an example of one sale. I'm like, based on what I've just told you, would you think this would have been an organic or a promoted sale? And she said, well, she basically agreed with me. But she wasn't actually that super helpful either. Yeah. So getting back into the groove, this video is probably going to be a little choppy. It's going to be a little, I mean, all of my videos are kind of all over the place. But I think there's three things that I want to focus on. Number one, views. Views that I've been noticing after an item sells, and it doesn't have to be after an item sells, but after an item sells, I have been keeping an eye on the amount of views that item has. And in many cases, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. So, and how I'm getting this information is what I do, and I encourage you to do this as well. Everything that I'm talking about, I hope that we get some participation feedback, what your observations are after taking what I'm about to tell you, and then kind of keeping an eye on it, and then reporting back. And even further, calling eBay and asking them, and insisting on some of the transparency. Like, we talk about transparency, and I'm going to give one example of how we should insist on something, which we should already be having, because I know they have the technology to do it. I'll get into that, but one step at a time. So the first thing that I want you to do is go to your active listings and sort by views. I'm doing this right now because I want to just give you kind of like a rough idea of, now I haven't done a full reset so my start dates are, I'm seeing a lot of 6 days. 5, let me just look here real quick. Let me sort by start date. I haven't done a full reset probably for about a week. Yeah, it's looking like 6 days. I've been doing partial resets. I don't know. It's kind of like I'm being lazy. It's not that I'm over resets. I know we need to do them. I mean, we absolutely still need to do them. They do still work to some degree. And okay, so go ahead and sort all of your items by views. Oh, and I also want to say one more thing. June and July have been my 2 best months of the year on my account. I'm only talking about my account today. Maria's account is actually not doing very well at all. I don't really know why. I have some theories, but for today, we're just going to be talking about my account. I've been doing most of my listing on there for higher dollar items. But right now I've got like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on between 2 stores. Luckily, local has been just rocking. It's just been everything that I thought it would be kind of once the weather got nice. And I think it'll just continue to do well heading into the fall. But okay, so sort your items by the views. So I've already did this math. I have 15 items. Let me just do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I've got 15 items that have 7 or more views. Okay, kind of make a mental note of that. 15 items that have 7 or more views, and then okay, so I've got 15 items that have 7 or more views, 76 that have between 6 and 3 views, 310 that have either 2 or 1 view, and then 3,300 that have no views. 3,300 items that have no views. 0, goose egg, 0 views. Thanks, eBay. I love how you are promoting my items. But just keep those numbers in mind. So basically, I've got about 90 items that have 3 views or more. 310 that have 2 or 1, and most of those are 1s, and then 3,300 that have no views. With that information in mind, and kind of knowing that these numbers will change depending on when you do a reset, but it's kind of like it's like a starting point to kind of just have an idea of what is normal for the amount of views that you have on an item. So now we're going to take a look at some closed items, some closed sales. Okay, so now let's look at the last 20 sales and see what we can determine, what tracks, what doesn't track, what inconsistencies can we determine just by using the information that eBay provides with us. So this was an IKEA slip cover. This was a promoted, 3 views. So I've already done the math. So basically, the first thing that doesn't track is I'm going to show you. Some listings have the views broken down between organic, promoted, and then the total. So, and if you put your mouse on here, so this dotted line is the start date. This is the date that it was sold. So you can add these up. I've already done this, so we're not going to have to do this for each one, but I want to show you. So 0, 1 promoted, 0 organic, 2 promoted, and then 3 organic. So basically the breakdown is 3-3. It was a promoted sale. That, at least that makes sense. It was a 50-50 split. So you've got a 50-50 chance that it's a promoted listing or it's an organic sale. Now, I also want to give you this stat. 12 out of 20 items, 12 of them were promoted listings. So 60% of my items that are selling right now are promoted listings. I understand that is going to be low for some people. That's actually quite high for me. I noticed that there are a few other YouTubers, Pete, I believe Stoic mentioned this, and Carl's promotions are they're all promoted. But a lot of people now are starting to notice an increase in the amount of, or let's just say the percentage of sales that are promoted listings. Why has that? I mean, for me, it's suddenly shifted. I'm not promoting. I think I'm promoting under 4%, I believe, on both accounts. I was as high. I've been tinkering with my promoted listings, although I feel like I've not done anything with them for 3 or 4 days, and my sales have kind of actually been really well over the last 2 or 3 days on both accounts. In fact, on my account, I am up 1% year over year for gross. I'm down 0.05% net, so I'm paying more in fees. That's why those numbers are a little bit different. I'm giving more to eBay. They're taking more of my earnings, but I'm so close to going positive for the first time. I don't think I've been positive, or if I have been positive, it's only been for 1 day. So I didn't really count that. So, okay, so the first one, and we're going to zip through these. So this was a 6-to-1, 6 organic. So when I say 6-to-1, or when I give you 2 numbers, it's always going to be organic promoted. And you can see here, one promoted, and then 3, and then it's sold 3 more organic. So 6-to-1. So that would be a 60% chance that, no, that's not right. 85% chance that this would be an organic sale when you've got 6 out of 7 views are organic, and yet it was a promoted sale. Now, I had somebody poke a hole in this by saying that it's the halo effect, right? And I get that some can be that, but the point that I want to drive home is that the organic ratio of views to promoted listing when it is a promoted sale is off. Okay, I just had my other son-in-law come over, and another hour has gone by, so I just need to pick up where I left off. So this was an organic sale. It was 6-to-1 organic. That tracks. That makes sense. Hitmonkey. This had 23. Why is it not loading? This had 23 views. And here, okay, now this is the first instance that I want to show you guys of something that is a transparency issue. It shows the views, how many, but it doesn't show you. Now, this was an organic sale. However, I've seen promoted sales be like this too, where it doesn't show the views. So this is one of the first questions that I have for eBay, and they've not been able to answer it, is why do sometimes they break it up for organic views, promoted views, and then other times they just show views? Because I have actually had an instance where I had an item that had 2 organic views, 0 promoted views, and it showed it. This was on Maria's store, and I called in because I wanted to ask them, how can an item have 0 promoted views yet be a promoted sale? And then 2 days later, when I went to make that video last Thursday, I was going to show that to you guys, and eBay changed it. eBay changed it to look like this, to where it showed only the total views. It didn't have the breakdown between the views. So here is one inconsistency and one transparency issue, and this is just a minor one. Why does that happen? And you're going to see some more examples. Okay, so here's another one, organic sale, 10 views. It doesn't say anything, but 10 views, all right, 10 views. And the one prior to that, what was it, 23 views? 23 views. I just showed you at the very beginning of this video that I only had 15 items that had 7 or more views. 20, I don't remember what the most viewed item was, but 23 views and even 10 views puts that in like the top percentile of views of any of my items. And there's nothing special about this alien graphic novel set that it's going to give me 10 views. Like, that's a lot of views. Remember, 3,300 items I have 0 views, and yet this had 5 on one day and 5 on the next. That is suspicious. 7 views. Again, this is in the top percent. I've had this listed. I have multiples of these. This one was a 6 to 1, 6 organic views to 1, and you're telling me that it's a promoted sale. Wait, was this one a promoted sale? Yeah, this one is a promoted listing sale. 7 views, abnormally high. It's just a random turtle happy birthday plush. Nothing special about it. I have multiple of these. This is the first one I've sold. I've had this listed for, I think I bought these maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I do not understand why I'm constantly seeing items that have sold have abnormally high views when there's nothing special about them. That in itself raises a red flag, and I want you guys to start looking at what I'm suggesting is that there are artificially high inflated views on items that have sold, and I don't know why. I don't know why that would benefit eBay. It's not always the case, but there's enough. When you break down your views on your items, on all the items in your store, and you look at kind of what's normal, what's abnormal, you start to see some weird abnormalities. This one, 13 views. I just listed this actually within 3 days. This was a Disney cookbook at 13 views. This one was organic. Actually, it had 12 views because they actually count the views after the ending listed. That was another thing that threw off my video last week when I was making it. So there were 12 views up until the day it sold. So there was, it looks like there was 12 views all on August 5th, which that in itself is a little weird. I know there's a lot of Disney fans out there, but to get 12 views in one day on a random 1975 vintage cookbook, a little odd. This remote control, this was a promoted listing. This one made sense. I believe it had, this is the first one that we've got to. It was 1 organic, 4 promoted. This makes sense that this was a promoted sale. This was this was a very cool mask that I had purchased. It was like an African mask. This sold 0. So this was an organic. Again, no breakdown between the views. Why? Let's zip through these. So 12 views. What was the view count on that? 6 views. 12 views. That's high. That is very high. I've sold a lot of these over the last year and a half. I think this might be my last one. This sold for like $120, I think. They did these hip hop. They did homages to certain hip hop album covers, and I believe this one was DMX. Yeah, DMX hip hop. So anyhow, this was a promoted 10 organic, 2 promoted listing views, but yet it was a promoted listing sale. 10 divided by 12, so it was an 83%. 83% of the views were organic, and yet it was a promoted sale. I was talking to my son-in-law, and he made a really good point. He goes, their algorithm, he didn't know the name, but Cassini is good, but it is not that good. It is not that targeted. It doesn't know who of the promoted views that it is gonna get a sale. So in my opinion, 12 views abnormally high. It was abnormally high skewed in the organic view count, and yet it's a promoted sale. Highly suspicious. 4 views, nothing. This one was a promoted, doesn't tell you. It just says 4 views. I can't really glean much information except for why are they not showing the breakdown? Same thing here, 6. This was an organic sale. This makes sense. I believe this was a promoted. It doesn't say that it. Oh yeah, it does. 1 promoted view. So 1 promoted view, 1 view total. That's believable to me. This Hello Kitty, this was a promoted. It doesn't tell you where the views come from, whether they're promoted, but that was a promoted sale. 12 views, abnormally high. Even 7 views is high. That's still high for a random graphic novel. This one was promoted, 5 organic. 71% chance this should have been an organic sale, yet it was a. So what I'm getting that number is I'm dividing the organic views 5 into the total, which is 7. So 71% chance that would have been an organic sale, yet it rang up as a promoted. 2 views for this one. It was 1-to-1 split. Nothing out of the ordinary about that. 8 views, pretty high for this particular book. Did no breakdown. That was an organic sale. 8 views for this book, and like this is a pretty fresh listing. I want to say I listed this within a week. By the way, if you're looking for it, it's a good book on trauma. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. Definitely recommend that one. This was an IKEA thing, 9 views, promoted. It was 4 to 5 breakdown, 4 organic, 5 promoted. It makes sense from that standpoint. 9 views is a bit high, but 1 view. This was an organic, but no break. Well, I mean, it must be organic, but again, I have seen 1, 2 organic and it be a promoted. 2 views, nothing really to see here. It was 0 to 2, so I guess that makes sense that was a promoted. Yeah, that was a promoted. This 1 view. I was really surprised that this. I'm surprised this doesn't have more than 1, but it was a promoted view. And then this one, 3-to-1, 75% chance being an organic, and this one wasn't organic. Okay, so now that we got some of that tedious stuff out, something else that I want to talk about is offers. Specifically, so when we get an offer from a customer wanting to purchase your item, we are told that this is coming from a promoted listing standard. And then we know with that information what our fees are going to be. So we can either counter, decline, or accept. So something that I've been noticing that I've not heard anybody else talk about, when you send an offer to a watcher and then they counter you, you aren't notified. You aren't told whether or not that's coming from a promoted listings ad. And I know this because I've taken screenshots, because I've been starting to notice times when I accept offers, mentally noting that there was no mention that this was coming from a promoted listing When I do that, that means I'm getting a text, most normally from Maria. I make a mental note and then I double check it, and I've started taking screenshots, and then I've uploaded them into drafts, and I've called eBay, and I'm like, why is this like this? They have no answer for that. They're like, oh, well, we can submit a ticket. Why is this important? Well, if they have the capability, it's all about accountability and transparency. If I'm getting a counter that is coming from a promoted listings ad, I need to know that, because that's going to factor in to my selling, my margins. By not disclosing it, it leaves too much up. It just leaves too much up in the air as to, it's like a gray area. It's like, oh, well, don't share that information with us, and we could make them all promoted listing ads if we wanted to. Like, I've literally called in and I've said to them, I was like, how do I know that this is coming from how do I know somebody clicked on this ad and I'm being charged? I mean, eBay has made, again, over 4 billion, approaching 5 billion in promoted listing fees that they've taken directly out of our accounts. There needs to be more transparency. Not only at the bare minimum, when we receive counter offers from offers that we have sent to watchers, we need to know, because it factors in, and nobody runs a business and don't know what they don't know what their costs are when they're making a sale. Why are we any different? Okay, to recap, things that I am curious about, things that I've been noticing: the views on items sold, the lack of consistency when it comes to whether we are being notified if a offer is coming from a promoted listings fee, which in turn is directly has an effect on whether or not I want to accept an offer. In fact, I'll take this one step further. I think it's important for us to know the location of the buyer, and they could just put the zip code on these counters, because that, as shipping and handling continues to rise, these are things that we need to know. Because if I have a $100 item, like I did, I had a $55 item on Maria's store, and I sent an offer, and it doesn't say any mention of promoted listings. I didn't have much on the item itself, and I had it since last summer. It was a drawing. It was a vintage drawing of a character from a book. It was like fan art from the 60s or 70s. It's kind of a cool piece that I rescued. It was in like this broken glass. Maybe I'll show you. Well, let me finish my thought. Here's that picture that I was just sharing. I just got a call. That was why I had to stop the video. Okay, so he countered my offer to watcher, and I had no mention of it being a promoted listings, and I didn't know the location. Now, so it ended up being a promoted listing sale. Let me just double check. It ended up being a promoted listing sale, and it was going to Florida. Like, the furthest it can go. Yeah, the furthest it can possibly go for me, which raises my shipping and handling, which, if it's a promoted sale, also raises my cost. Well, I guess that's whatever I have on there for shipping, it's going to be the same. But it still would be nice to know. So on these counters, it would be nice. I mean, if they have the ability to determine that it's a promoted listing sale after the fact, after I accept that offer, they know beforehand. So we should know beforehand. And I mean, I feel like we need to know the the zip code as well, because that's going to factor in how much more out of pocket it's going to cost me to ship there, if that makes sense. So I think at the bare minimum, those are things that's some transparency issues. And I feel like, personally, I don't really trust eBay. I told them that when I was on the phone call with them. They are out to make and extract as much money from us as possible. It is our job to keep as much money as possible. This is like the most interrupted video ever. I apologize. That was Maria calling. We have our daughter is like, our youngest daughter is having their engagement party tomorrow. It's a big deal. So she's got to buy some last second stuff for that. And yeah, so, okay, forgive me if I've already talked about this, but I don't think I did. But putting everything that I've talked about in common sense, statistical probabilities kind of, we have a situation where I told you 60% of my sales are promoted listings. And yet, and in many cases when I showed you, the view count is so heavily skewed in the organic as well that it doesn't make sense, even factoring in the halo, that 30-day thing where someone could come along and, click something. That's the other thing. Like, let's say you click on a promoted listing ad on my store and then I reset the items. If they come back and click on your items, is that factored in? See, there's so many things, there's so many factors, there's so many, like the view count, there's so much gray area. And I'm sure it's by design, but if eBay wants to continue to push these promoted listing fees on us, there has to be accountability, transparency. It has to make sense as well. Like you can't have 60% of your sales or more. Like I just noticed on Maria's store, I got 2 more that were promoted. So 5. So let's just look at hers. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 12 of 20 are, I might have even miscounted. It might be 13 of 20 are promoted listing. And yet, when you look at, like, again, I'm not really focusing on her account. This is more or less me looking at something just for the heck of it. Now, the views don't seem that skewed as they were on my account. But when you have the majority of your views coming from organic views using eBay statistics, and yet the majority of your sales are promoted, that does not make sense. It does not track. I guess ideally in a perfect world, I would want to know where that user clicked on a promoted ad, the day, the time. I mean, that information, it's got to be somewhere. I don't really even know if that would solve anything, but at least it would make me feel better knowing that it actually happened. And again, none of this would probably even, obviously, I still probably would have wanted some sort of transparency in it, especially when they're milking sellers for so much money. But when I started to see some kind of oddities in these statistics, and I'm really excited to hear what Polish Pete's video is going to be talking about. He said he has a video coming out about promoted listings, and he has some theories. So I'm definitely interested to hear what he has to say about this. But let me know what you guys think. Am I looking into this too much? Not enough? Who cares? I don't know. All I know is that like my spider sense is tingling. And, you know, I'm still butthurt about promoted listings if you can't tell. Poshmark, I've had my 5th sale on there. I had 2 sales in 2 days. I've got about 70 items on there. So I'm starting to get some traction there. Haven't had a sale on Etsy in a while, but I've been told Etsy is traditionally very slow in the summer. District. I'm circling back to District, and here's why. I'm going to list another 50 items on there. And because I have begun to notice that they're starting to get some traction with Google. And I'm thinking with really obscure items, that might actually be a benefit. In fact, I'm noticing on certain items that I'll have the title, and then I will have I'll kind of shorten, or I'll take bits of that title and kind of put it in Google to be more reflective of what somebody would actually be searching for. And there have been instances where I'll see eBay, that list, my listing eBay, but then when you click on it, that link is dead because it's been reset. And then below that, I'll see District, and like it must have been an item that I've cross-listed on both, and that link will be good. I mean, you don't have to do any resets on District. It's kind of like just set it and forget it. So I'll obviously, if I sell anything on District, you guys are going to be the first to know. But I am interested in circling back to that just to see. I have a bit of an internal prediction that I think if I list another 50 items on there, I think I'll get my first sale before that. Maybe not. Maybe it's a waste of time, but I got to try something, right? I got to try something. I got to keep spreading things out. The other day, I had $60 in sales on eBay, 60 on Posh, and 60 local. I was loving that breakdown. I am thoroughly enjoying, cross-listing does take more time, but I am enjoying the idea, or, the realization as things happen, of spreading out my risk and just not leaving it all on eBay and putting all my eggs in that e-commerce basket. The other thing that I'm gonna end this video, just kind of like a channel update. I have added a membership at the lowest possible feature of like $5. It's like for some reason it's like showing in Canadian dollars, so it's like $5, which is like $3.60 a month US. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Sometimes I question whether YouTube is even the best use of my time. In terms of financial rewarding, it's even worse than eBay. I'm putting the basic membership on there. You're not really going to get anything right now. That is just a way for people who enjoy my content, want to support the channel, and you'll get a shout out. Now, obviously, the kind of person I am, if maybe it'll make me want to post more content more frequently. I do plan on getting back into, I've not done a video in a month, and it's been nice. But there have been times where I've had things that I want to say, things I've observed. I plan on doing a what sold video. I do have some more conversation videos I want to do. If I can figure out exactly what I want to say. The next one, it's pretty good who I want to talk with, but I want it to be good and entertaining as well. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist that way. But yeah, so the membership is there for anybody. I don't expect anybody to use it, but if it's not on, nobody can use it. So You guys do with it what you want. Maybe in the future I'll have higher memberships. I don't really have any plans to, but let's just take it month by month and we'll see what happens. I've been very productive not being on YouTube, even with the family being here. There are pockets of times where, either, the baby and our daughter, and they're off visiting the son-in-law's family and this and that. So I have been enjoying, and as I said, my account is doing very well on eBay, very well relative to as good as it can be doing in the summer, in the economy that we're at. And I do want to get back into trading stocks. That's something that I'm very serious about doing, but it's going to be on a much reduced capacity. I'm going to be much more of a intermediate trader. I'm going to continue doing eBay at the capacity that I'm doing, and I'm going to be very, very part-time on stocks. But I already have the formula, I already have my scans, I already have my strategies. I'm just going to do it on a longer time frame, and I think it'll be way better. So that is going to take up some of my time as well. So yeah, I'm glad to be back, guys. Hopefully you'll get something out of this video, and you'll start kind of paying attention to things, and maybe some of you guys have answers for some of the things, the no view breakdown, or why are we not being notified about when items are not promoted, and again, am I reading too much into this? Let me know. Peace and blessings, you guys. Hopefully you all had a great July. I know I had a great July. I'm looking to enjoy the rest of the summer, but I will be making much more regular content from here on out. Take care, guys and girls.